There's something almost surreal about watching a Japanese child move through the world. A tiny girl waits at a crosswalk, adjusting her little hat, standing there with a patience that feels far older than she is, as if calmness was something she inherited, not something she learned. A group of 6-year-olds walk to school with no adult beside them, laughing softly, carrying tiny backpacks, navigating their route with a confidence that feels almost strange to anyone who didn't grow up in Japan. Or step into a Japanese classroom. You won't see chaos. You won't hear shouting. You won't see a teacher policing every move. Instead, you'll see children lining up their shoes, cleaning their desks, wiping their tables, organizing their belongings. Not because someone is yelling commands, but because this is simply how life works. It's quiet, soft, almost unreal. And somewhere deep inside, a question rises. How do they raise children like this? Children who seem calm, children who seem responsible, children who seem emotionally aware, almost beyond their age. But what most people never see is the truth beneath the surface. Because the system that creates these strengths also creates quiet, invisible struggles that many children carry silently. Japanese parenting is beautiful, but it is also soft, restrained, and shadowed in ways that are easy to miss. Today, we explore both sides, not to judge, not to glorify, but to understand how a child's emotional world is shaped by a culture where harmony is everything, and individuality must find its place inside that harmony. Japanese parenting isn't magic. It is a psychological design, built slowly, quietly, over generations. Inside that design lie two things: lessons the world can learn, and burdens children rarely express. So let's begin with the light, the part Japan gets deeply, beautifully right. The strengths. Why Japanese parenting works. Japanese parenting doesn't begin with lectures, rules, or punishments. It begins with something far more subtle: environmental teaching, what Western psychology calls implicit modeling. In Japan, children learn not through words, but through watching. They see a mother fold her umbrella carefully so it doesn't drip on the floor. They see a father carry his trash home when no bin is available. They see strangers bow softly, apologize gently, step aside respectfully. Every tiny action whispers a message. Your behavior shapes the world. This message is never shouted, never forced, but absorbed, quietly, naturally. And this creates the foundation for 4 powerful strengths. 1. Responsibility through trust. Japan trusts children early, far earlier than most countries would ever consider. A 6-year-old carries her own school bag. A 7-year-old walks with friends to school. A 5-year-old helps serve lunch in class. Children clean their desks, wash cloths, sweep floors, and run tiny errands. Every small responsibility sends one message: we believe in you. And for a child, being believed in becomes everything. Belief becomes confidence. Confidence becomes courage. Courage becomes independence. The world sees children who are calm and capable, but what it's actually seeing is trust turned into emotional strength. 2. Discipline without fear. In many parts of the world, discipline arrives with noise, a raised voice, a strict command, a threat. But in Japan, discipline is soft, quiet, almost gentle. A child misbehaves? The adult doesn't shout. They kneel down, look the child in the eye, and say softly, "We don't do that. It can hurt someone." There is no shame, no fear, no emotional wound. The correction is firm, but safe. And the psychological lesson becomes, mistakes don't make me bad. Mistakes are moments to learn. This creates self-regulation, discipline that grows from within, not forced from the outside. 3. Routine that creates emotional stability. Japanese childhood runs on rhythm. Morning greetings, cleaning time, group tasks, predictable transitions, daily routines that rarely change. To adults, it might seem strict. To a child, it is emotional protection. Routine gives a child stability. Stability reduces anxiety. Predictability creates calm. When children know what's coming next, their bodies relax, their minds settle, their emotions soften, and so they appear mature, not because they are pressured, but because routine becomes part of their emotional DNA. 4. Omoyari, the culture of emotional awareness. Perhaps Japan's greatest gift to children is omoyari, the instinct to consider others' feelings. Children learn to observe quietly, to sense the mood in a room, to adjust their voice, behavior, or energy for harmony. This creates deep emotional intelligence. A child who notices sadness in another doesn't need to be told to show kindness. A child who sees someone cleaning will often join without being asked. A child who hears silence feels a natural pull to maintain it. Japanese classrooms feel peaceful, not because children are controlled, but because they understand how their presence affects others. These strengths are beautiful, but every light casts a shadow. And Japanese parenting has shadows too. Shadows that don't scream, don't disrupt, but sit quietly inside children's emotional worlds. Let's step into those shadows. The shadows, where Japanese parenting quietly fails. The same system that builds emotional maturity can also create emotional restraint. The same calmness that teaches self-control can also hide suffering. The same harmony that protects the group can slowly suffocate the individual. Here are the quiet emotional costs most outsiders never see. 1. Emotional suppression, the child who must stay calm. Japanese children learn early. Don't disturb others. Don't be loud. Don't express too strongly. This creates control, but also suppression. A child who feels sadness swallows it. A child who feels anger hides it. A child who feels overwhelmed tries to handle it silently. On the outside, calm. On the inside, emotional buildup. And as these children grow, so does the belief. My emotions inconvenience others. This silent pressure follows them into adulthood. 2. Pressure to conform, the invisible cage. Harmony is beautiful, but harmony has a silent twin, conformity. Children learn to blend in, to avoid standing out, to avoid making mistakes, to avoid causing discomfort. And slowly, individuality becomes something they protect in secret. Some children shrink their personality. Some hide their quirks. Some avoid risks. Some stay quiet even when they need support. Responsibility becomes restraint. Calmness becomes self-erasure. Kindness becomes silence. 3. Fear of burdening others. This is one of Japan's softest yet deepest shadows. Many children grow up with a quiet belief, I should not trouble anyone. It sounds polite, but inside a child it becomes loneliness. They hesitate to ask for help. They feel guilty expressing needs. They hide their struggles to avoid burdening adults. Politeness becomes armor. Self-control becomes a shield. Silence becomes survival. 4. Academic pressure. Calm before the storm. Japanese early childhood is gentle, but middle school changes everything. Suddenly, entrance exams, cram schools, homework loads, late-night studying, competition, expectations. The same children who were praised for discipline are now expected to endure stress quietly. Many manage. Some excel, but others crumble silently because they never learned how to express stress, only how to hide it. The balance. What the world can learn. So, does Japanese parenting work? Yes, deeply, beautifully, but it also fails quietly. A Japanese child is often strong on the outside, but too silent on the inside. Calm in public, but anxious in private. Responsible in action, but hesitant in emotion. The truth is, every strength becomes a weakness when it carries too much weight alone. What the world can learn is not to copy Japan, but to balance Japan. Trust children early. Give them responsibility. Model empathy. Create calm routines. Teach discipline through gentleness. But also, encourage emotional expression. Celebrate individuality. Welcome mistakes. Teach children that needing help is not a burden. Conclusion. The lesson. There is no perfect parenting system, only different emotional outcomes. Japan teaches the world the beauty of trust, routine, empathy, and collective care. But it also reminds us that a child must never grow up feeling, "My emotions trouble people. My differences are problems. My needs are burdens." A strong child is not the one who stays quiet. A strong child is the one who feels safe to speak. Perhaps the future of parenting lies in balance. Japanese calmness with emotional openness. Japanese responsibility with individuality. Japanese harmony with healthy expression. A blend of strength and softness, where children grow not only disciplined, but deeply understood.